Welcome to the Texas Cannabis Collective weekly update for the week of August 20th, 2022. I'm Jesse Williams. Lone Star Collective and Texas Cannabis Collective updates are sponsored by Oak Cliff Cultivators. For more information, visit oakcliffcultivators.com. Support also comes from Thrive Apothecary. For more information, visit thrivetx.com. We've got upcoming events as well in Texas. On August 27th is the all-day event Cannarock in Austin, Texas at Come and Take It Live. On October 8th is the Texas Marijuana March and Freedom Festival at the Burnett Park in Fort Worth, Texas at 12 p.m. For more information, visit the Events tab in the menu of the Texas Cannabis Collective website. This week in cannabis news, a Court of Appeals decision for the U.S. First Circuit could have major implications for the marijuana industry nationally. A decision from the court ruled that the state's decision to bar out-of-state operators and non-residents from owning a cannabis business in the state was unconstitutional. This court affirmed that the Constitution's Dormant Commerce Clause was in play. The clause, which is meant to prevent states from enforcing laws that unduly restrict interstate commerce unless given specific instruction from Congress, applies to the marijuana industry, and that it applies to the matter regardless of ongoing federal cannabis prohibition. The court noted that Congress has, quote, acknowledged the existence of a market in medical marijuana, though a bill rider which bars the Justice Department from using its funds to interfere in state legal medical cannabis markets. The ruling also notes that congressional action in the wake of the CSA reflects that Congress contemplates both that an interstate market in medical marijuana may exist that is free from federal criminal enforcement, and that, if so, this interstate market may be subject to state regulation. Advocates in other legal states now wonder if Maine's residency requirement violates the Dormant Commerce Clause as an unconstitutional protectionist policy. Could the same be argued about state laws that create a priority for licensing under a social equity program? Many of these programs rely on residency to work. The Southern Hemp Expo, abbreviated as SHE4, took place this past week in Nashville, Tennessee. The fourth annual expo took place from August 18th to the 20th at the Fairgrounds, Nashville. Vendors, advocates, businesses looking to enter the space, and many more were in attendance over the 3 days. The event saw a gathering of multiple facets of the growing hemp industry in the U.S. SHE4 gathered visitors coming in from various states to discuss business and learn more about the industry. Speakers included, but not limited to Joy Beckerman of Hemp Ace International, Texas cannabis attorney Richard Chang of Weaver Johnson Nelson, and Texas Lab founder James Johnson of JJ Grow Enterprises. The next event coming up from founder Moore Spiegel will be NOCO in Colorado Springs at the end of March in 2023. Be on the lookout for our podcast, episode 50, which was recorded live at SHE4. The U.S. Department of Transportation is proposing new guidance for commercial truck drivers and CBD usage. The department is currently seeking public comment until September 30th. You can find the link on the topic in our online article. While the current Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration handbook says that drivers aren't prohibited from using legal CBD products, it cautions examiners that its use could still cause problems with physical examination certifications. Part of the concern is that because there is no FDA regulation or oversight, that products labeled as CBD only may not be what they claim to be. With that in mind, the guidance states that mislabeling is not a valid excuse for a failed drug test. Even with proper labeling, someone using a product with under 0.3% has a possibility of screening positive. The agency proposes this change along with one from 5 months ago that would change the screening method to saliva from urine to reduce false positives. Advocates may have their eye on this as the current Secretary of Transportation is Pete Buttigieg. Buttigieg's presidential bid in 2020 contained rhetoric of the harms of prohibition as well in calling for the end of prohibition on all drugs. But yet he has yet to take steps to update DoT marijuana policy since taking his current position. That is it for this week in Cannabis News Review here at the Texas Cannabis Collective. If there is something going on in the Texas cannabis space that you think others should be aware of, just drop us a note on our contact form online. Be sure to subscribe to our newsletter at txcannaco.com and search for Lone Star Collective Podcast in your search engine to get updates about our show and weekly news. Like and subscribe to our YouTube channel for updates as well, Texas Cannabis Collective. Have a safe week, Texas, and stay hydrated to beat the heat.